I'm going to give you a rundown on some basic keyframe management techniques. So to follow along, go to Working Files, Projects, and scroll on down to 0906, Copying, Pasting, Moving. This project has one clip in it, and we're going to make a new sequence from scratch just to kind of get you into that mode. So take this clip and drag it down to the new item icon here. That'll automatically create a new sequence. That'll match the dimensions of that clip, and there it is. Press the / key on your keyboard to just expand the view a little bit. You haven't changed the length of the clip, of course. You're just kind of zooming in on it. And now I want to apply two effects to this clip. So just click on it to make it active, to make it selected. Go over to the Effects panel, click on that tab. Open up Video Effects. Put on the Blur and Sharpen. And as long as this clip is active, all you need to do is now double-click on Gaussian Blur, and that'll add it to that clip. You can confirm that by going to the Effect Controls panel, and there is Gaussian Blur. Now I want you to go down one more notch here to Channel, and double-click on Arithmetic. Wasn't that your favorite subject in school? We're going to apply keyframes to both of these effects, and in the process I'm going to show you just how you can manage keyframes and navigate amongst keyframes. Let's take a look at Gaussian Blur right there. What I want to do is I want to start this clip blurry at the beginning, sharpen it, keep it sharp, and then make it blurry at the end. Very much like what we did before, but I'm going to show you some management techniques along the way. So let's make it blurry at the beginning, bring the blurriness level up to something pretty obvious like that. Let's say 60 is fine, right around there. Click the Repeat Edge Pixels button just to make it smooth all the way around. And now turn on the keyframes by clicking the toggle animation switch. And you can see that it's on there with that little hand up on the right hand side and it's black around it. We've added a keyframe now at that point. So that means that that's the start of some kind of change. So go into the clip a little ways. And now let's change this back to sharp, meaning 0 blurriness. And when you change it back, that automatically adds a keyframe because you're at a new time, you're at a new location. If you change something, then that'll automatically add a keyframe if this is turned on. Okay, great. So what I want to do now that's a little bit different than before is that I want to go to the end of the clip and take this keyframe and paste it at the end of the clip. So I'm going to press the down arrow key to go to the end of the clip, which technically speaking is the frame after the end of the clip. So now I'm going to press the left arrow key to be on the last frame of the clip. And now I want to copy and paste this first keyframe at the end. So I just click on it to make it active, make it selected. All I need to do now is right-click as long as that's active and say copy. So the active thing will be copied. Now I'm at the end of the clip now already, right there. So even though I don't see my current time indicator here, you might see yours, but I don't because of just the arrangement of my workspace. But there it is right there, just tucked away in the corner there. All I need to do now is go right-click and paste, and it'll take that keyframe, which was 56, and put it at the end. And now the current time indicator is on it, so you see the value there. What that means, though, is that it's going to go from blurry at the beginning to sharp and then gradually become blurry again. Now, we don't want that to happen. We want right about here to be sharp from here to here. So I can click on this keyframe, make it selected, right-click on that one, say copy, and wherever the current time indicator is located now, I'll just right-click here and say paste, and it'll put that keyframe there, and it'll match the one that we just copied. So that's how you can copy and paste keyframes. You copy one by selecting it, then right-clicking and saying copy. And then wherever the current time indicator is located and you go paste, that's where that keyframe will be located if you paste it. You don't have to put your cursor right at that spot. The current time indicator will take care of that for you. All right, now that we've put them there, let's just take a look at how this looks. Okay, I think it got unblurry. I think it sharpened up too quickly. So you can maneuver keyframes inside here. You can go, let's say I want it really to be unblurry right there, let's say. Well, you can drag keyframes around and they will snap to the current time indicator. So I'll drag it and watch it snap, bam, right there to the current time indicator, which is great. So you can use the current time indicator as your exact edit point, and then you can drag and snap to it. So let's do the same thing at the end as well. Let's see, how quickly does that get blurry? Too quickly, I think. So we're going to move it right there, and I'm going to snap it over like that, and now we're right in place. So there we've got those guys all taken care of. We've copied, pasted, and moved. I've shown you how to delete before. You just click on one and press delete or backspace on your keyboard. Now, why did I bother putting in the arithmetic effect? I want to use these as my guide for these down here. So I want to change arithmetic, but I want the changes to happen at the same pace that these change up here. So I'm going to go down to the red value, for example, and just change the red value by dragging my scrubby over there to change it till it looks pretty wild. There you go, to 50, let's say. I'm going to turn on keyframes for that. There we go. And now I want to have my next keyframe go to 0 at the exact time that the blurriness ends and it gets sharp. So what I need to do is navigate to this keyframe. Now normally I would have this effect closed and you get these little round circles, meaning there are keyframes here, but these are not the specific keyframes. It's just letting you know that, by the way, there are keyframes associated with Gaussian blur, and if you want to see them, you need to open it up. So there they are. If I want to navigate from one keyframe to the next, I use these little triangles here. This goes to the next one, this goes to the previous. So there is no previous here, that's why it's grayed out. So we go to the next one right there, and now we can set this red value to 0 by clicking on it, just typing in 0, for example. And now it puts a keyframe right at that spot. So the two things happen in concert. They both change over time and finish their change at the same moment. That's what I wanted to do. So now I'm going to go to this point here, navigate to it by going to the next keyframe like that. I could copy and paste this, or I could just click on the diamond. That'll do the exact same thing. Because clicking on the diamond will say, put a keyframe here that's equal to the value of the preceding keyframe. Now, if I had a keyframe at the end that was different than this, then if I put a new keyframe here by clicking on that diamond, it would be some interpolated value between the two. So let me show you the workflow that I just used up here to avoid that little problem. I'm going to navigate to the end now, right there. You can't really see it because we're off the edge here. And by the way, if you can't see it, there's a way to overcome that. You can go to this panel menu here and say, uncheck pin to clip. Right now, the current time indicator is pinned to the clip. It won't go beyond the edges of the clip. If I uncheck that, now I can see it by making this like this and sliding this guy back and forth. A little bit like that. There we go. Let me spread it out a bit more. So I'm going to go back to pin to clip because that's default. At any rate, we're off to the end here, and now I'm going to spread this back out so we see the full view. This is zoomed in, this is zoomed out. Anyway, now we're at the last keyframe that we did before, which is on the last frame down here. You can see we're on the last frame there. Now I want to put this keyframe at the end. So I'm going to click on that, make it selected, and now right-click anywhere, basically, and say copy. And now I'm going to right-click and say paste. I don't have to be over here hovering at that spot. I can just right-click anywhere here and say paste. And it'll take the currently selected thing that we copied and paste it at the end. So now it's going to change over time. It's going to go from no red funny business to lots of red funny business with nothing in between there. We want to just hold it at the normal level here to there and then dip. So I'm going to navigate to this keyframe by clicking on this go to next keyframe. And I want to put this keyframe there. So I click on it to make it selected. Right click basically anywhere here, say copy. And now where the current time indicator is located, I'll just right click and say paste, and it'll put that keyframe there. So in other words, it's now going to be a steady hold from one to the next. From there, now it's going to hold. It's not going to be blurry. It's not going to be that red funny business. And now it's going to change like that gradually. And they'll be in concert. They'll be timed together. So that's how you can copy and paste keyframes, how you can move them around, and how you can navigate amongst all the keyframes.